Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, post-Christmas Day, Monday, December 26th. Hopefully you all survived the Christmas holiday. You're back with us. We're just trying to get ourselves back into gear here following the Christmas break. Ian Cameron, Skee Profit, Wham, Dutch, all with you, ready to break it down here on a Monday. Again, hope you all survived the holiday. Hope you enjoyed time with family, friends, watching football, basketball. Hopefully made some money along the way. First show on Pub Sports Radio here since Christmas. So here we go. We're basically getting the train rolling again here on the channel. Our first show on the channel, live show, post-Christmas. So let's get into it. We've got a big NBA slate for a Monday. Actually, not as big as it normally is on a Monday, 7 games, but still lots to break down. We will start with Cleveland as they host the Brooklyn Nets. We've got the Cavaliers 2-point home favorites here, 220.5 the total. In this one, the Cleveland Cavaliers, we've talked all season how great they have been on their home floor. Not the case, though, in their final game before the Christmas break. It was probably the worst game they've played all year at home, as they were trailing wire to wire against the Toronto Raptors, and they end up losing 118-107. A very rare poor showing on the home floor from the Cavs in that game. Now they're going to have to try to bounce back here against a Brooklyn team 9-1 in their last 10 games. They've certainly played much better. If you look at how they've been offensively, they've been lighting it up. It's a big reason why they've been trending over. Their defense has picked it up as well. If you actually look, a lot of their defensive numbers for the season aren't great, but the last, I would say, 5 to 10 games, you've seen Brooklyn pick it up on the defensive end of the floor. You know, moved all the way up to 8th in points per game allowed, 6th in field goal percentage defense. So big improvements there. When you look at this matchup, though, I think the key here is we've talked about this so much with this Brooklyn team, who, by the way, will be without Joe Harris, and it looks like Seth, not Steph, Curry is going to be questionable due to an illness tonight. But we've talked about this so much. You give me a strong front court, you give me a team with a lot of size, a lot of length in the paint, and that's a team that can really trouble Brooklyn, and obviously Cleveland is going to have that with Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen at the disposal. I like Cleveland here. I'm going to take them on the money line. I get it. Brooklyn's red hot. It may not be an easy team to step in front of, but I trust this team off one of the worst games they've had all year. I like the matchup advantages inside Cleveland should have in this game. Cleveland has had a rare bad night defensively against Toronto, but their defensive numbers and metrics for the season are still very strong. I like them here at home to bounce back, and I'll go with them on the money line here, which you can get at around minus 130 right now. Skee, we'll start with you. What do you think here? Brooklyn, Cleveland, a good one in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it is. I think, the first thing that stands out to me is Brooklyn has been playing like the best basketball in the league, or one of the teams. Maybe I'm missing somebody else, but they won like 8 games in a row, right? So 8 wins and they're underdogs. Like that kind of shit stands out to me. And Cleveland, they've been at home for forever. It's like their 6th straight home game, and coming off of a loss the way they did, I just feel like it's a spot where they're going to show up. I mean, they've only lost 3 games all year long at home out of 19. You're just asking them to win here. So I typed it into the database to try to, pull some numbers for that situation. And what I came with was road dogs on a 5 or more game win streak, facing an opponent off of a loss. They are 120, 165, and 8 against the spread, 42.1%. And they are 86 and 207 straight up. That's 29.4%. That says to fade Brooklyn tonight and back the Cavaliers. Cavs are, when they play competition, they play up, especially at the house. They've had 5 games versus 55% when teams are better. They've won and covered all of them. So I'm expecting them to do the same thing tonight. Give me the Cavaliers. And if I have to play the total, I think of the Cavs in the under, but lately they've been going over. And Brooklyn is a team that, put the ball in the basket too. So maybe I'll start leaning over with this Cavs game, but Cavs in my pocket.
Yeah, I would lean over too. I mean, just because Brooklyn's been on a torrid overrun, we've seen Cleveland kind of back that way over the total. Defense hasn't been nearly as good, and of course they've been getting great backcourt play from Garland and Mitchell the last little bit for Cleveland. So yeah, I'm with you. Cleveland bounce back time, and I like teams. They got their ass handed to them before the Christmas break. Usually I don't like backing teams at home off the Christmas break because sometimes you're a little distracted. I don't think it'll be that way for this team. They got their ass handed to them Friday by the Raptors. I think this is a team that comes out of the Christmas break, even though they're at home, focused, ready to play, ready to make a statement. And you look at that, you mentioned the home court numbers. They beat Milwaukee, they beat Luka the Don in Dallas at home. They've beaten a bunch of A quality teams on the home court this year, Cleveland. So they've consistently upped their level of play, the tougher the opponent at home this year. What do you think here, Dutch? Brooklyn, Cleveland.
Yeah, man. Salute to the real ones holding us down in the chat. DK, Mr. Kelly, I see you, my man. Sam I Am, Sam Comer, Star Child, Zachary. Hopefully all had a motherfucking Merry Christmas. I see y'all, man. Hey, I like this game a lot, man. I like everything y'all say. Y'all motherfuckers said so goddamn much. What is there left for me to say? I like the Cavaliers too, all right? I do. And Kyrie on there talking some shit, he trying to be like, oh, the land ain't no place. Like, man, you're a weird-ass motherfucker, man. You left them, bro. You did get him a ring, and you played out your fucking mind when you did against the Warriors. I'll give you that. And that was a big-time shot. There ain't no denying Kyrie's talent. He's one talented motherfucker, but god damn it, he's one weirdo motherfucker, bro. Like, you know they ain't feeling him in Cleveland, man. He left them high and dry. And it ain't nothing he could do for them fans to be on his ass tonight. And they better be on his ass. I don't give a fuck if he got him a ring or not. Jared Allen, the talk. This cat Claxton. Oh, he's the new Jared Allen. Well, I think we'll see tonight. There's only one Jared motherfucking Allen. I believe we'll see that tonight. Perfect spot for the Cavaliers. Real talk. I think, they had to sit around after getting that ass whipped at the house. And it don't happen that often. They are 16-3 straight up, 12-5, 12-5-2 against the number at the crib. Have won 4 of the last 5 meetings at the house against these boys. And off a loss, 4-0-2 ATS after a loss, 7-1. My man Skee touched on it a little bit. They play up to the competition. 7-1 ATS last 8 versus a team with a winning percentage greater than 60%, which we have in Brooklyn. And we know the Nets are a bet-on team. Not tonight. They're fat and happy. They put it on Milwaukee just like we knew they would, not playing on Christmas Day. This is a beautiful thing right here, I believe, for the Cavs. Full game, -2. It's good money.
All right, Wham.
Yeah, man. I love everything that you guys are saying as well. So I think I do need to push the button on the side. I didn't do that up until, hearing you guys say that. I think that's a good play. So I'm going with that as well. But for now, I'm just going to write down what I wrote down. I do like the Jared Allen double-double as well. I think that's something I got to take it now. Hearing Dutch talking that talk, we know he loves to go against his old team, just like Wendell Carter Jr. when he goes against his old team. They just have some type of motivation going against their old team. So double-double at plus money, plus 110, that sounds like a good look as well. But I do like that Cavalier spot. So I kind of, like you said, man, Dutch, they said everything already. I mean, the only thing I didn't hear is the home team has won 7 of the last 8 meetings. You know what I'm saying? So it still does lean towards the Cavaliers. So that's a good look there as well. So both teams top 10. It's a wobbler with the total for sure. I'm not touching the total. I think it's going to be over because the Nets offense is of late and defense is obviously top tier with Cavs. So, yeah, with that. But, yeah, I think Jared Allen double-double for sure official. Cavs official for me as well. And then what other play that you guys kind of really talked me on? Yeah, that's it. That's it right there for that.
All right, good stuff. So there you go. You threw out a one stat there we didn't talk about. So there you go. You're adding something. That's all we need. Absolutely.
I get money. Said Skee got to name his database. Anytime I'm naming what teams have been doing over a certain period of time, like going back years or whatever, it's always going to be Killer Sports or GiveMeTheDog.com. One of those two, always.
Yeah, it's all SQL database queries. That's what they are. And they're widely available at multiple sites. And you're right, Killer Sports is the main one. You'll find tons of stuff. You could just type in put in any kind of permutation and any kind of combination you want, and you'll be able to spit out, the data for a certain period of time. Yeah, and that's definitely where you can find that stuff if you're into the trends aspect of betting, ATS trends, long-term ATS trends. Yeah, Killer Sports is definitely one of the key sites for that. All right, next up, we've got the LA Clippers and Detroit Pistons. Clippers 6-point road favorites, 223.5 the total. Money's come in on Detroit. This opened at 8, down to 6. Kawhi Leonard, probably a reaction to that he's not playing tonight for the LA Clippers. So it is going to be Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, and Ivica Zubac. Your starting 5 here for the Clippers. For the Detroit Pistons, man, they totally made a fool out of me Friday with my best bet with Detroit plus the points against Atlanta. Just totally fell apart in the second half. They were playing good early. and they just couldn't contain it here for the full 4 quarters. They get ripped 130 to 105 by the Hawks on Friday night. Fade Atlanta did not work out well for a change on Friday night. And look, it's 5 losses in a row for the Pistons. They've only covered once during that span, including 3 straight where they've just gotten whipped, by 20 at Philly, by 15 to Utah at home, and then, of course, the 130-105 loss at Atlanta. Clippers off a loss to the Sixers, 119-114. They're not going to feel good about losing that game either. Clippers at a strong start could not sustain it for 48 minutes against the Sixers. Kind of feels like a bounce back spot for the Clippers, but look at the Clippers asking them to win by margin on the road. It's been tricky. They lose to Philly. They beat Washington on the road, but by 7. They lose to Miami outright or they lose by Miami by 5. They lose outright as favorites to Orlando on the road. They get a 2-point win as 6.5-point road favorites at Charlotte. This is not a Clippers team I love laying moderate points with on the road. I just don't. So it's tough. I don't know if I can get there with Detroit again. I've kind of soured on them, and I don't love laying this many with the Clippers on the road. So it's a tough game for me. Skee, what do you think here, Clippers and Pistons?
Well, I'll start with the total, and I think I like that one over. I know you'll miss a little bit of scoring from Kawhi. He's been getting his little rhythm going lately, but really, I'll start with the Clippers are 10-6 to the over on the road. Detroit 11-5 to the over at home, and I just I'm seeing the Clippers play with a little bit more pace than I think they used to, and Detroit's pace last 5 games is 13th as well. So I'm just thinking the total might be a little bit too low in this one. And as far as the side, I think, Detroit as a home dog has been pretty good for a few years now, getting 6 or more. And that's what they're getting tonight. So that's what makes me nervous, along with Kawhi missing for the Clippers. But I just think the Clippers are starting to play, good basketball and getting into a rhythm, into a groove. And I don't want to bet against that. So I lean more towards the Clippers and the over.
And there's even though they failed to hold on to the lead against Philadelphia in their last game, that's in Philly. And Sixers are good at home. Sixers are good overall. It's a good team. I mean, there's no shame losing to them. It's not like it's a sign the Clippers are, all of a sudden, what's wrong with them? It was just a tough loss. It was a back and forth game. Give Philly credit. They rallied in the 4th. What do you think here, Dutch? Clippers and Pistons?
Yeah, man. I don't judge, man, but what the fuck? Why? Who's betting this basketball game? Come on, man. I mean, really, like this basketball. You see, Ski's like, come on, man. Like we're forcing this shit.
Throws on his face at the right time.
Man, we forcing this back. Hey, my man Deshaun said it. Back with this motherfucker.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Wham, are you giving this game the shrug as well?
Y'all know I like those dirty-ass games, bro. I just like dirty-ass games, and the homie actually talked me into this game. I do like this look here. Reggie Jackson going over the 11.5 points. He's going up against Detroit. He used to play for Detroit. Ever since he's been a Clipper, he's been going over this point total within 5 straight meetings. So I like this look a lot. I think Reggie Jackson will get the little extra look, especially with Kawhi being out as well. So over 11.5 points, minus 120 is the only juice I took today.
All right, let's go now to next game up here. It is Minnesota and Miami. Big move here. Miami's down to a 1.5, 2-point home favorite in this one. Total 221.5 across the board. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who have been a frustrating team to figure out this year. Talk about another implosion in the second half. Minnesota was actually leading Boston in the first half on Friday night, and it just got away from them late. They end up not only failing to win, but they blow the cover late in that game. If you took Minnesota, they lose 121-109 to the Boston Celtics on the heels of a loss to Dallas before that. Miami's off 2 straight home losses as favorites to the Bulls and the Pacers, a Miami team that their injury list is a mile long. Bam Adebayo's out tonight. Dwayne Dedmon is out tonight. You're 7 out. It looks like Gabe Vincent is questionable with a knee issue tonight for the Heat. Jimmy Butler's questionable. He's questionable every game, this guy right now, with the ankle. And same with Caleb Martin as well for the Miami Heat. So you need clarity who's going to play if you're going to back Miami. So but I think I'd have to lean Minnesota. I mean, we've just seen this banged up, inconsistent mess of a Miami Heat team lose as favorites at home in back-to-back games. It's not like that's exactly the track record I trust as a home favorite tonight against arguably probably a better team than Chicago or Indiana, the two teams Miami just lost to outright as home favorites. So I guess I'd lean Minnesota, but you're not getting the best of the number, and I'd rather see who's in for Miami before moving forward. What do you think here, Skee? Timberwolves and Heat?
Yeah, I don't got much on this game. I lean Minnesota too, just because they've been a better offensive and rebounding team lately, and they're catching points. So that's really all I got. And if I have to play the total, I'll lean under, just because neither team is playing with pace, and neither team shoots the three well so far in the season. It's hard to back either side. I know Miami is 3-12-1 as a home favorite. I know it's numbers coming down, but I just still don't trust them. And at the same time, I don't really trust Minnesota either. So pass.
Yep, there you go. All right, Dutch, Minnesota, Miami.
Yeah, man. Shout out to our guy, Sweaty Butcher. Hope you had a good holiday as well, my man. Punchline in the building. Tasha, young lady, Merry Christmas to you as well, Tasha. Mally Mal knows the motherfucking deal. You know what? It's not hard to do, Ski. Backward this motherfucker, goddammit.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Wham, Timberwolves and Heat, have at it.
Yeah, man, it should be open season for Rudy Gobert, man, for the T-Wolves. It should be open season for him. No Bam, no Cat either. So, he gets the looks. I think D'Angelo Russell probably came off of his best game of the year. That last game that he had, 21, 7, and 10 as far as assists. I think, the Heat, 9 less points is what they're allowing than Minnesota as well. So their defense has actually been worse than Minnesota's as of late. So you just can't really trust them laying points here in this spot. And I think it's really showing that Jimmy is a wobbler right now with his offense. Is he questionable or not? I don't know if it was what's that about, but I like D'Angelo Russell to go over the 7.5 assists. I know it's been going against me from when I took it. I took it at plus 117. Right now it's at plus 127. So it's obviously going in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? I'm not saying anything to it, but I still think it's a good look. I think he does get to, the north of 9 to maybe even possibly a double-double with 10 assists today with D-Lo. I think he can replicate that here because they just been playing so bad as far as the Heat, and they haven't really been playing that many tough opponents as well. They just been playing terrible. So I like D'Angelo Russell to go over the 7.5 assists, and that's pretty much it.
All right, there we go. Next up, we've got Houston and Chicago. Chicago 7.5 point home favorites, 230 being the total in this one. The Bulls coming back from a 4-game road trip where they went 3-1. They beat the shorthanded Heat. They beat the struggling Atlanta Hawks, and they beat the New York Knicks 118-107 on Friday night, right before the Christmas break. Finally getting the better of the Knicks, in that one. So the Bulls 118-117, and actually the Bulls have dominated the Knicks. Bulls won the previous meetings. Bulls continue their domination of the New York Knicks with that victory on Friday night. But they're back home now off that 4-game trip, hosting the Rockets. That's not exactly a great bet on spot for the Bulls. And you actually look at their home performances of late. They lost the 2 games to the Knicks before that. And then, of course, the Washington game, they were 5-point favorites. They win by 4. It's not exactly a team I'm trusting laying points. And, Houston's one of those teams where it's 2 games in a row before Christmas where they played Orlando. Orlando's one of the hottest teams going right now. And they battled them down to the wire. They lose by 6. They take on Dallas Friday night. They lose 112-106, but again, it was a pretty competitive game. They rallied in the fourth quarter, make it interesting, lose by 6. I like Houston here a little bit. I just don't love this spot for the Bulls. A successful road trip, coming back home over the holidays, a team that is not good in this bigger favorite point spread range, in my opinion, especially in the home favorite role. I'll go with Houston here. I'm going to give them a shot. I like that they've been competitive. They've been feisty here against Dallas and Orlando here in these last 2 games. What do you think here, Skee? Houston and Chicago?
Yeah, I would lean towards Houston just because I'm against laying points with the Bulls. I don't think they're that good, and they don't defend well enough to warrant winning by double digits. So I do look at the total though, and I always come back to road teams on the front end of it back to back. They're hitting the under at a little bit under 65% this year. Um, you got both teams bottom 10 in pace the last 5 games. You have um, a Houston offense who's been the worst offensive rated team in the last 5. If you look at the last 3 weeks, they've only went over 110, I think, one game. So I don't trust them to score. I don't think they'll be able to even take advantage of that, mediocre, if you want to call it that, Bulls defense. So I just, it looks like an under to me. I think however the game go, if Chicago is up by margin, Houston probably puts the bench in and just gets ready for the game tomorrow. So I thought the best bet for me was the under. And if I had to pick a side, it would be Houston. There's no way I'm laying 7.5 with the Bulls.
All right. That's Houston and the under for Skee in this one. All right, Dutch, how about you? Rockets, Bulls.
Yeah, man. This game, I seen something with the Bulls, and we talked about it last week. We liked them. Didn't pull the trigger at the end of the day on Friday night, but we liked them with them points, and they got the job done against the Knicks. I look at this game, man. I don't know, maybe the couple days might actually hurt this team a little bit. They had won 3 straight since the locker room brawl. Kind of looked like it was about to be explosion fade mode, and they turned it around. But they also have Milwaukee on deck. And they it's a big game with them boys against Milwaukee. So I could only really look where you guys are looking in Houston, but we know I'm not in the business of putting my money on the Houston Rockets. So no motherfucking way am I doing that. But yeah, man, it does look like this is too many points for Chicago, and most likely they're probably already thinking about Milwaukee in a couple nights. So yeah, no action here for me.
That's the words of a man. He says, I think it's a good look toward Houston, but that's the words of a guy that you can tell. It's just bad shit happens when he bets a certain team. And there's always teams like that where it's just the moment I bet them, the moment I hit click, confirm, Houston's going to lose by 20 tonight. There's always teams like that.
Well, yeah, it's not really that, but bottom there, I do definitely have teams like that. But when OKC is a team like that for me this year. But what it is with Houston is they're just fucking ass, bro. I don't want to. I mean, I'm either fading them. My money's not going on that team. I'm fading them some type of way, or I'm just not touching that basketball game.
I do like Jabari Smith. I think he's pretty solid player.
Yeah, I mean they have NBA players, absolutely, but as a team. Come on, man. I don't want nothing to do with that motherfucker.
There's mishmash. Yeah. And they have those nights where the offense goes in the tank. So does their D. I get it. Yeah. It's just you can't hang your hat on the Houston fucking Rockets every night. I totally get that. What do you think here, Wham?
Yeah, bro. I think you hit it right there, man. It's only Jabari Smith or nothing in this game, man. I'm not touching this game. I think if you're taking Houston, I understand it's a good spot for him here. I expected the offense to be a little bit better today. Like Skee said, their offense is really what you got to trust. And they have been struggling from deep. I think they were like 18% as a team over a few for last week in a certain series of span of games. So they have had a good game against Dallas last game. So they did have a good game there. Jabari did go over his 2.5 threes. You know how we were eating with that at first. So I'm thinking to quietly tiptoe and bet this, say without making a big deal about this because I don't want to get famous. And that's how I'm going to do that. You know what I mean?
I thought about
this is a backwood. This is a backwood, but we're going to tell them it's a backwood. That's what I'm saying, bro. We're going to tell them it's a backwood. It's plus 230. I'm just going to crawl over there and I'm going to do that. But it's a backwood, y'all. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Yeah.
And there it is. Backwood indeed. All right. Next up, we've got, as we continue along, Utah and San Antonio here. Utah 4.5-point road favorites, 235 the total in this game here in San Antonio. Of course, our home base, Pub Sports Radio there. The San Antonio Spurs, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. Portland blew them out by 16. Miami, they lose by 10, 111-101. They beat Houston, the only win during that span against the Rockets, which tells you how Houston can be. San Antonio somehow beat them by 19 points last week. And then they follow up on that road trip, losing by 9 to New Orleans as 8.5-point dogs. And then they get blown out by, albeit the surging Orlando Magic, 133-113 in that game. Spurs have gone over the total 6 of the last 7. Defense has certainly been optional from their standpoint. Utah, on the other hand, they had back-to-back wins against the Pelicans, Did get blown out at Cleveland, at Milwaukee. Milwaukee's great at home. Cleveland's great at home. Good teams. Nothing wrong there. And then they bounced back. They beat up Detroit big time on the road. And then they beat Washington and covered at home 120 to 112 right before the Christmas break. You look at the Spurs, I just don't trust this group right now. They're back in one of those phases again where they're not playing any defense. They're not getting back on defense. They're getting ripped apart at that end of the basketball court. You're seeing them lose by margin. They had a little bit of a run there earlier in the month where they put a few wins on the board together, but now they've kind of gone the other way. That definitely would concern me going into this game. It's the first meeting of the year between these two teams. I'll say this about Utah. They've actually got a positive and profitable ATS record on the road this year, 10-8 against the spread on the road. I think the number's actually short enough. You can lay it with Utah here, quite honestly, at -4.5. That's what I'm looking to do here in this game. Utah is the short road favorite, -4.5. What do you think here, Skee, Jazz and Spurs?
Yeah, this game really is kind of a backwood for me. I think if I have to pick, I can understand the Jazz, but I'm hesitant because they haven't been good as a favorite this year. And it's just tough to lay points with them. But they're a top 10 3-point shooting team. You have a Spurs team who's, the worst team in the league defending the three. And then the Spurs are bottom 10 3-point shooting team. And blanking out here. And the other team, and they're top 10 3-point defending team. No, I always got to explain, man, just because that's how you win by margin.
He was doing his fun yesterday, not today, we promise. Yeah.
No, but that's how you win by margin, when you shoot the three well and you defend the three well. Those are two things that Utah's been doing all season long. And those are two things that the Spurs struggle to do. So that's why the Spurs get blown out all the time. Yep. That's why Utah's been able to, be serviceable. And that's why I would lean Utah in this game.
Yeah, me too. I like Utah a little bit. It's not going to be best bet, but I do like them here enough to make it a play on the card tonight. What do you think here, Dutch, Jazz and Spurs?
Yeah, man. Our guy JB Brown liking the Jazz as well. Two in the play of the day for him. Good to see you, my man. You Capper in the motherfucking building. I see you. Yeah, AOD, my man. I see you, man. Happy holidays, bro. Yeah, I think Skee touched on it from that perimeter. I know my man Dabby Cabin riding the Jordan Clarkson. He had mentioned that to me this morning too, how suspect as fuck San Antonio is from the perimeter defensively. So yeah, I could only look Utah here, but I'm not really in the business of laying points with the Utah Jazz on the road, no matter who the fuck they're playing. But yeah, San Antonio, man. Hey, San Antonio, man. Best thing going to San Antonio is Southtown 1-0 motherfucking 1. That's about it, because the Spurs are trash as fuck. Maybe get a Chiro. That's about it, man.
Yeah, our guy that runs the show here, Jeff Slaughter, will appreciate that here for sure. And it is. It's honestly, Southtown 101 is a better bar than San Antonio Spurs are a better basketball team right now. Let's be honest. We're just calling it the way it really fucking is. What do you think here, Wham?
Yeah, man, this is definitely a nasty game. This is a backwood for me as well. Just to give y'all something, I do agree with my boy Skee. If I'm doing anything, I'm probably going to lay the juice, lay the points with the Jazz. That's the only way I can see. Like you guys say, they've been playing pretty well as of late. It's just that I wouldn't be surprised if these motherfuckers actually play well against them too. So I'm going to stay away from this game. This is a backwood for me.
All right.
All right, Indiana and New Orleans here. Pacers, Pelicanos. New Orleans 2.5 point home favorites, 234 total here in this one. And of course, the Pelicans have had all kinds of issues with their different lineups, it seems, every night for Willie Green's group right now. Can't keep the same five on the floor tonight. It looks like Herb Jones is out. Brandon Ingram is out. Zion Williamson is unlikely to play, downgraded to doubtful. Left off the injury report for this. Matt missed the last 2 games due to league's health and safety protocols. He's apparently dealing with some conditioning concerns. My gosh, man. I mean, let's go. I mean,
holiday season.
Conditioning concerns. Be a pro and keep yourself in the proper shape to be ready to play on a nightly basis, man. Everybody else has to. Well, how come you can't? I mean, my good, I hate when I read that. I mean, you're getting paid millions of dollars to make sure you are in shape to be available to play for your team. I mean, I don't like reading shit like that. So I'm souring on Zion for this. This is unacceptable in my opinion. Nevertheless, maybe he had too much turkey. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But nevertheless, here we've got Larry Nance Jr. Now game time decision as well with the Achilles injury for the Pelicans as well. And then you've got Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels. I believe both of them are questionable as well with illnesses. So CJ McCollum, Najee Marshall, and JV are the only three fucking guys that we know for sure are playing tonight for New Orleans. Everybody else is just one big fat question mark here for this game tonight, except for Zion, who's definitely going to be doubtful, and the others that are already out, Jones and Brandon Ingram. So, yeah, it's not exactly a team that is full health. It's not exactly a team that's won games. They've won the last two games, but the Spurs not saying much, and then Oklahoma City on the road in overtime, 128-125. And the Pacers, here they are, having won outright as underdogs, back-to-back games at Boston, at Miami, covered the number in defeat at Cleveland, which is not an easy place to play. They have a win against Golden State on their resume. They only lost by 3 to New York. They've lost by 5 to Miami, lost by 3 to Brooklyn. I mean, every game they've either won or they've been right in the game. So I understand the rush to bet Indiana. Problem is, I really thought Indiana was a good bet at, 6.5, 6 where it opened. It's all the way down to 2.5 now. So a lot of the value's gone, but hard to lay points with New Orleans in a patchwork lineup that they're going to be trotting out there tonight. Skee, what do you think here? Pacers, Pelicans.
Real quick, Luke Casey, he was it's still sticking in my head too. He said, the comment is gone. It was the line that Dutch put out there. UCapper says CJ assist over. I agree with that play. I think in this game, you got to look at some props. I don't think there's no money to be made on the spread just because you've already lost the value with the players out. You should look at Valanciunas from the Pelican side on his rebounds because Pacers are the worst rebounding team in the league the last 5 games. And on the other side, it was another prop I was looking for, but I'm off this game. I'm trying to give y'all something, but it's not a game I played.
It's tough, especially when you see lineups like this. That's the NBA, though. You're going to see 3/4 of the team are out. It's hard to get involved in a game like that. What do you think here, Dot?
Yeah, man. Shout out to BJ. I see my man. You Capper in the building. I see you, my man. Adam Larkin. That part right there, my guy. Like, subscribe, and share the motherfucking video. I like it. I dig it, my man. Appreciate your support. And each and every one of y'all motherfuckers should follow our guy Adam Larkin, lead, and do the same goddamn thing. Hey, shout out to our guy JT Talks. I see you, my man. Appreciate you joining us. But yeah, nothing on this basketball game. I believe Wham Bam likes this basketball game an awful lot.
That's right. That's right. You know I do, bro. I already knew Zion Hurt was going to be out in this game. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to think a little spicy here. I'm thinking a little spicy. I went plus 125 on the money line with the Pacers. Reason being is they're coming off 2 great games back-to-back, right? Coming off 2 great games, and they already beat this team with everybody in the lineup. The last time they matched up, they shot 45% from 3. Miles Turner pretty much went crazy, had 37 points, 11 for 18 field goals. Most likely you're going to get Jalen Smith back into this game. I think he's questionable here, so he might be coming back for the Pacers. But I'm thinking that this is going to be another opportunity for the Pacers to play well. Seems like they've been rallying after, the little smart stuff that I forgot Wally Zerviak came out and said about Tyrese Halliburton about the all-star shit. So it seems like they've been rallying around that. He hit the game winner, had 40+ points last game. I expect him to have another great game against New Orleans Pelicans without a lot of the guys on the defensive side as well. To crash those boys. I do think Valanciunas does eat, like Skee said, but I'm going to go straight money line here. I think that the Pacers are just a good spot here. I think they're, maybe one of those book attractive gambling spots that may be public here, but it may be the right side here. I just think the Pacers are really good. I think the revenge factor, like BJ said, it is there for the Pelicans, that's for sure. But we're not having those guys out and having a team that's been beating pretty good teams in Boston and Miami. I think they have confidence that they could beat them just like they did last game. Maybe not 37 points from Miles Turner, but it may be another great effort from Tyrese Halliburton.
All right, we got the final game of the Monday slate. Next up here, Charlotte and Portland. Portland 5-point home favorites, 237.5. Very high total. here with this one between these two teams. I can't blame them for setting the total pretty high. You look at Charlotte, we just saw them with the Lakers in a game that had 264 points scored in it on Friday night. And we talked about that game on Friday's show. The total just got hammered in that game, and you could see why. Charlotte's not exactly bringing it on defense their last few games. They've now gone over in 3 straight, and in 5 of their last 7. Defense and struggles there have been a big part of that, but they're lighting it up now. And really, offensively, the moment they got LaMelo back, you knew they were going to improve at that end of the floor. Portland, they've now lost 3 in a row, failed to cover in 3 in a row. At OKC twice in a row, they lose outright as favorites, and then they lose 120-107 as 6-point dogs at Denver. And they're back home off a 6-game road trip, which ended right before Christmas. So that's not exactly a bet on spot. Laying points with this Portland team, struggling and off a road trip, first game home. That's a negative and a negative right now, in my opinion. So I guess I'd lean Charlotte. I'm not crazy about taking the points, but I'd take the points with the Hornets before I lay anything with Portland right now. By the way, Damian Lillard's playing. Hart and Nurkic were questionable, but it looks like they're going to be good to go for the Blazers in this one. The one thing about Portland is, at home, this team really seems to, I don't know if it's push the ball or just be more offensively efficient, just shoot better. I think all of the above happened for Portland at home. You look at these home games they've played, they've shot better, they've scored more points, and I think you might see that again tonight against Charlotte. So it'd be Charlotte plus the points over the total if I'm betting these two, if this game, I should say, side and total. What do you think here, Skee, Charlotte and Portland?
Yeah, home favorites coming back from extended road trip, like 5 games or more. They're 34, 54, and 2 to against the spread, which is 38.6%. That says to fade the Blazers, and you already kind of put it out there. They've lost a couple games in a row. They came back real quick to have a Christmas with their family. Now they got to come back and play again, and they haven't been playing good basketball. That's not a team that I want to back compared to a Hornets team, who I know they've won 2 out of their last 3, and they're healthy right now. So dating back to 2019, UCapper. So I like the Hornets plus. I got them plus 5.5. I see plus 5 on the screen. I think they're the right side in this game. And as far as the total, I mean, you said, even with them not playing defense, right? They've won 2 of their last 3 games. I still think, they're just trying to outscore people, and Charlotte's going to want to play with pace. I have them number 1 the last 5 games. And I think if Charlotte is, trying to push pace, I think Portland will be okay with that, because Portland will be able to score with ease too. So I think, both teams will look a little bit better on offense than they have been lately. Last 5 games, I have them as bottom 10 offensive rated teams, but I have to like this one over. I haven't betted it yet. I bet the Charlotte plus the 5.5, but the total, I like the over too. I might bet it by the end of the day.
I think Skee likes the Charlotte side more than the over. I'm the opposite. I like Charlotte too, but I like the over more. In this game, I think the total gets there up and over the number here tonight. Portland does shoot better. They're better at home. Damian Lillard's had these crazy games at home earlier this year as well. Wouldn't surprise me too. Team struggling back home. One of those Damian goes off for 40 kind of. I think it's actually a good Damian Lillard prop night too. Him to get really have one of those big nights that we've seen him have. He's done a lot of that at home this year. Dutch, how about you here? Charlotte, Portland.
Well, an awful lot of love for the Charlotte Hornets. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Honestly, they beat the Lakers. I guess you trying to make them be a little better than they are, Skee, since they beat your boys, huh? But yeah, man, I think they might still be in party mode. Come on, man. They was in La La Land. These young motherfuckers, they just chilling. And if you went to Portland, hey, ain't nothing to do there but get high and go to the motherfucking strip club. So these motherfuckers definitely in chill mode. You can say what you will about Portland on the long stand, road trip, come back home. It's Christmas. They had 2 fucking days off. They lost 3 straight basketball games in a row. This team has been a bet on basketball, has been a good basketball team all year. That was not like what we've seen out of Portland, especially losing back-to-back there to OKC. I look at it as, man, the 2 days off, I'm not scared, man. I like the Blazers here first quarter a lot, actually, minus 1.5. They are 5-0 ATS last 5 first quarters at the house. And they did play these boys November 9th in Charlotte without Grant without Nurkic, beat them by 10, shot 53% from the field on top of 17 turnovers. They had 17 turnovers. Look for them to clean that up at the house. I think they just run these boys off the fucking court, to be honest with you. They are 4-0 ATS last 4 at the house as well. And the Hornets, well, man, they finally won a fucking basketball game. Yeah, I know they won 2 out of the last like fucking 15 basketball games. 2 out of the last 3 though. So LaMelo back, Savior. I don't fucking think so. They're 1-5 ATS. Last 6 after a win. They start feeling themselves. They go right back to what they do. Not to mention, they're suspect as fuck in Portland. They've lost 14 straight basketball games in Portland. 3-13 ATS last 16 in P-Town. 3-8 overall ATS against the number last 11 meetings. And they do play the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. Give me the motherfucking Blazers. They smack them around early. Hopefully, Skee can, you guys can get that little 5.5. But early and often, rip motherfucking City. I like that -1.5. I like the -3 first half as well. But for official, we'll do that first quarter.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta add something real quick.
Go ahead, tell me some bullshit.
I gotta add. Dan Kelly's saying first game after a trip doesn't hold water if you had 2 days off in Christmas. And so, I mean, what do you think? You think Christmas Day was out there practicing, working on how to get better, or what the hell is Christmas going to do to help them? You know, they just kicking it with their family. If anything, they was partying. I think that's a negative.
So you think practicing helps? You think practicing for
when teams have
day off is going to help this team get right?
When teams are in a funk and they've been losing, you need to practice and work on some shit to get right. You don't need to go fucking party with your family. So I think it's a negative. I think it does hold weight.
I mean, I don't think it's a positive. I don't think it's a positive or a negative, to be honest with you. These are professional basketball players. I don't think an hour shoot around is going to change too much if they're going to bring it tonight. They're obviously more talented and a better basketball team than the Charlotte Hornets. So as long as they're playing somewhat a basketball tonight, it should be no contest.
My issue is the 6 days on the road. It's like Texas down to Oklahoma City, back to Denver, Mile High City, back up to the Pacific Northwest. That's tricky. But at the same time, I will say this about Portland. There are things that do back Portland here. They've been good at the house. They're actually 3-0 straight up in ATS. Their last 3 as home favorites, which is the role they're in here. I mean, they beat the shit out of Minnesota twice. They beat Indiana pretty good at home, decent teams. So they could handle Charlotte here, but I think the spot is really
in the last week, they went from OKC to Denver to Portland in 1 week.
One more. First game.
What the fuck? High class jetting and shit. Like, pity these motherfuckers.
Y'all can tell me if I'm tripping, but again, he says first game after a trip has to do with teams having to take care of family and local stuff.
Yep.
What do you think Christmas is?
Yeah.
Right.
It's take care of family and visit with them and drink with them.
You got an extra day to do it.
And whatever the fuck.
You get an extra day.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan Kelly, you my boy too, by the way. This is how I talk, so don't take it personal.
There we go.
Shout out to Dan. Dan is the homie. Yeah, Dan is the homie.
Measure the two teams. It feels kind of short with Portland. I will say that, but it's just the spot is a tricky one for the Blade. Let's see how they handle it. I guess maybe if you're uncertain,
on to the right side.
If you're uncertain, watch the games play out at the beginning and see if Portland looks good. And if you bet Portland live, and if they don't, then take Charlotte. That's what you do. You're going to be able to tell right away if Portland's ready to go tonight. And obviously, Dutch thinks they will because he's on the first quarter with the Blazers tonight. What do you think here, Wham?
I'm thinking first half, man. I'm taking the Blazers first half -3. I'm getting in and getting out though. I don't want nothing to do with going against Party Boy, man. Skee me on the shit. When he going back and forth with the chat, the chat undefeated. No matter if it's or not. The chat undefeated, no matter. But no, it's all love though, man. I shout out to Dan too, because I did see him in the chat. He did give out the Spurs second quarter. That was 7-10. 7 of the last 10 in first second quarters. So that's a good look. I did look that up, Dan. Shout out to him. But yeah, I'm on the first half, man. -3 with the Blazers. They've been doing it 7 of the last 10. The Hornets only covered 3 of their last 10 first half. So I think that's pretty much what we're seeing. I do expect it to be a great more tempo, like you did mention, Bubano, with LaMelo back in. You've seen that difference already. But I think the Bulls, I mean, if I'm betting on any of these teams to party, if we talk about any of these teams to party, man, I'm taking the old man with the damn kids and shit like Dame. I'm not touching LaMelo who taking pictures and shit up in the 7-Eleven, bro.
Come on,
I'm not doing it, dog. I'm taking my boy the Blazers. So I'm taking them early, -3 in the first half, man.
And that's coming from a LaMelo guy. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they was
For
fucking
real.
around this week, especially after beating LA. Miles Bridges was in town. It's trouble. It's trouble, man.
Yeah, they working on that new deal too. They trying to get him back. Yeah, for real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Someone is, like I say, there's people that are saying Portland's in the worst spot. There's people saying Charlotte beat LA. They're in LA. They're coming off the worst spot. They're going to fall back down to earth tonight. That's why they play the game. We'll find out at 7:30 p.m. 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Stay tuned. You'll find out exactly which team is truly in a bad spot and hungover tonight with this Hornets and Blazers game. All right, great stuff. That's a great debate game. I love it. I love when we have these games where it's a great debate and there's people that have got good, strong takes on either side. Makes for a better show. Speaking of what makes for a better show, hit the like button. That makes for a better show. 266 live viewers. Hit that like button. Don't be motherfucking respectful, as our guy Slow Jams Arsenault is saying in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Our first show after Christmas, the first show on Pub Sports Radio after Christmas. Come on, hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Make sure you do that. We will be back with Best Bets, Dutch's Freshest Look. It's coming up right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, when you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Southtown 101, manscaped.com. Promo code PubSports, 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with promo code PubSports. All right, Best Bets and Dutch's Freshest Look to wrap it up for this Monday. Skee, we'll start with you. What do you got for Best Bet?
Well, I know Dutch his freshest look either gonna be, against me on this pick or it's gonna be with me on another pick. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to the window with this pick. So I hope it's the other one. It's a flat spot for the Blazers. I'll let you know. If you don't believe in that, last 5, you want to talk about how bad the Hornets defense has been. They're still a better defensive rated team than the Blazers the last 5 games. The Blazers been ass. Hornets been a better rebounding team last 5 games. Hornets are catching points. Blazers are not a team that you lay points with. Give me the Hornets plus the 5.5 points, and don't be surprised if they get a money line again.
There you go. Hey, the last time Skee was on with the Charlotte Hornets as a best bet was a week ago today against Sacramento, and it was pretty good for Charlotte that night. But I know what Dutch is saying. That Sacramento ain't Portland. I know. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, they won outright, right? So it's totally right. Ski comes back to the light, baby. Yeah, go 1-1. Okay, my man. Hey, the freshest look, we're going to the land. And they're going to put it on Kyrie and fans and the whole motherfucking crew. Cavaliers -2. It's good money.
There you go. Cavaliers minus the deuce against the Brooklyn Nets. Freshest look for Dutch in this one. And, of course, Skee on the Hornets. Wanting those Hornets. Dutch, yeah. Get that fly swatter.
Right out that bitch, dog.
All right, Wham Bam, what do you got? Best bet.
That shit is funny, man. I love the Cavs look there with my boy, but I'm gonna go to the Pacers, man. We're gonna go to NOLA, man. You see the injury report. You see what it is. Give me the Pacers money line. Get the less money, man. Get paid, bro.
All right, there we go. I like it. Pacers to get the job done here for Wham with his best bet. And my best bet, same as Dutch. Yeah, Cleveland. I mean, I'm when I get this team near a pick 'em, I'm always going to look at them at the house. I know Brooklyn playing great. Give me Cleveland here -130. I think the inside advantage with Mobley and Allen against Claxton and a weaker Brooklyn front court will feast tonight. Defense, I think, will bounce back. It's still a good defensive team. had a bad night against Toronto. It happens. They'll be better tonight. They've stepped up consistently against the better teams on this home floor. They beat Milwaukee just recently at home, and I think they get Brooklyn tonight. They cool off the Brooklyn Nets. Cavs minus 130 for my best bet here for this Monday NBA card. That'll wrap up for this edition of the NBA Pub Up. Make sure you join Dutch hosting the show tomorrow. Sometimes Tuesdays, it's that light card. Not tomorrow. This is a weird week in the NBA. They've got a huge card tomorrow, 10 games on Tuesday in the NBA. So make sure you're back here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern with Dutch, with Durrell, with Billy Briz. Make sure you're here with the three of them tomorrow to break down the big Tuesday card, a rare big Tuesday card in the NBA. So make sure you're back for the Pub Hub tomorrow. And that's a wrap for this one. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us the day after Christmas, wearing off that hangover. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. For Dutch Boy Fresh, for Skee Profit, for Wham, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back tomorrow. Dutch, Durrell, and Billy Briz for another edition of the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. Salute to them real ones. Razor sharp picks in the building. I see you, my man. AOD, Mr. Chin, Joe, Chris, BJ. Y'all be sure to like, subscribe, and share the motherfucking video. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed. Let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.